Hello Aries, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for your June 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, you will find links to all sorts of goodies. You will also find a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so please only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. It is my absolute pleasure and a blessing to be here with you, sharing this spread that I've created, taking a look at what you have healed and learned over the past 6 months, what you're moving away from this month, what you're moving closer to this month, and where the next 6 months could be taking you. We're also going to be grabbing a theme song for you for the month to give us a little bit more information. So let's dive in and see what June has in store for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what has Aries healed or learned over the past 6 months, please? Okay, thank you. What is Aries moving away from this month, please? What is Aries moving away from this month, please? Okay, thank you. What is Aries moving closer to this month? What is Aries? Thank you. And where could the next 6 months be taking Aries, please? Okay, thank you. Let's get some clarity for you. Tell us more, please, about what Aries has healed or learned over the past 6 months. Tell us more, please, about what Aries has healed or learned. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about what Aries is moving away from this month. Okay, thank you. Tell us more, please, about what Aries is moving closer to this month. Tell us more, please, about what Aries is moving closer to this month. Okay, thank you. And tell us more, please, about where the next 6 months could be taking Aries. Okay. Wow, that's quite a few cards there. Can we please have a theme song for Aries for the month of June 2023? Nice, clear message for Aries, please. What is Aries' theme song? Okay, you have 2. We'll take them. We will take them. All right, let's dive in. So what have you healed or learned over the past 6 months, Aries? You do have a friendliness here. You are able to recognize traits in common with another in order to forge love-based connections. So this is very interesting, okay? Because I do feel like, Aries, your energy can sometimes be very direct, right? Sometimes a bit aggressive even. And so I do feel like over the past 6 months, you've likely learned how to pull back on that just a little bit. And so I feel like with that, you come off a little bit more friendly. What's interesting is, how would I say this? I don't know that you necessarily come off unfriendly. I just feel like maybe you come off a little bit pushy in some cases, or maybe even bad-tempered, depending on you, of course. But I feel like like I said, over the past 6 months, I feel like you have been able to pull back on that a little bit, or have learned how to pull back on that a little bit. And I feel like some of this, for some of you, this could come from, I don't know why I'm feeling this, but for some of you, this could come from healing something around not being heard, or something like that, because it feels like for some of you previously, like maybe you were a little bit pushy or a little bit loud or aggressive, if you will, because in the past, you may have felt like when you shared or expressed yourself, maybe it wasn't heard, or maybe it was ignored, or something like that. And so maybe you had learned how to kind of be forceful or loud or out there, or like, hey, I'm talking over here, right? Because you may have had that wound. But I feel like for some of you, and I definitely don't think this will apply to everyone, but I feel like for some of you, you may have been working on or have healed that, which has allowed you to kind of tone that down a little bit. Maybe you don't feel so much like you have to do that. But let's take a look at your clarity. We do have the Six of Wands here. So it's interesting because it's like, it's funny. This is I mean, really, this is like public recognition in a sense. So it's interesting to me. I feel like you've probably seen proof of this. You may have found it a lot easier to make friends, or maybe feeling like people are drawn to you. I'm like getting this kind of like clapping type of energy, like almost like you've had, I want to say, some of you may have even called it like a glow up, because it just feels like all of a sudden that people are like paying attention, if that makes sense. And I feel like this is because you've been able to like pull yourself in a little bit, and so you may not come across as intimidating, or you know what I'm saying, as before, and maybe are now more in this like leadership energy, right? Or more like an influencer type energy versus, pardon me, being pushy or coming off intimidating or something like that. It was very fascinating. What else do you have here? You do have the, wow, so Six of Wands, Seven of Wands. That's really interesting, because I feel like you've, with let me just slow down a little bit. With it going from 6 to 7, I feel like you have grown over the past 6 months. And it's interesting because like I keep feeling like I'm hurrying, or like the energy's coming through very quickly. So I feel like this has felt very fast. Right? Like even maybe people around you feel like it's been like a very quick change for you, perhaps. But I feel like, there's this energy here of you may have, again, kind of, or maybe coming across more friendly, or have learned how to be more friendly. Because I feel like there's this, how would I say, like this confidence that you may have gained in yourself. And again, that may have come from some sort of healing, and potentially, like I was sharing earlier, for some of you, maybe you don't feel so much that you have to push your thoughts and ideas and feelings upon other people. But I feel like there's been this confidence found, and perhaps that's through what you've endured, what you've overcome. You may have developed your strength, or rather your confidence within yourself and what you're capable of over the past 6 months as well. So I do feel like there's this, I want to say that, like this confidence in yourself. And if you were to look back, I feel like on your past, you could probably now say, oh, this is why I behaved in this way, or this is why I feel like I behaved in this way. It's very interesting. Okay, let's take a look at what you're moving away from this month. Okay, so we do have priorities. You understand the paramount importance of manifesting love in all situations. So here's the thing. I do feel like you could be moving away from, how would I put this? Because I'm getting some fear coming up. It feels to me like moving away from anything that puts fear at the forefront. And this could be within your own emotions, this could be in your actions. So if it like stirs some kind of fear within you, I feel like you're kind of pushing it to the back, or not giving it as much focus, if that makes any sense. It feels like there's this sense of making things a priority that really matter and moving away from bringing anything to the forefront or making anything a priority that doesn't matter or stirs fear in you or makes you feel some type of way negatively or lowers your vibe or makes you feel uncomfortable, right? It just feels to me like if it doesn't feel welcoming, if it doesn't feel warm, if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't stir some kind of loving, warm type of feeling within you, then you're not making it a priority. You're no longer feeding it energy. Where before, maybe when something came up, and maybe this is something that has to do with a fear or a worry or an anxiety or something, maybe you hyper focused on it. And now it's like, now I'm not doing that anymore. I'm moving away from that. Because it's almost like there's this recognition of how it is not serving you, right? We also have here unity. You understand that love shared with another is amplified and has a ripple effect across the universe. So again, moving away from anything that doesn't bring you closer to yourself or makes you feel, what is the word I'm looking for? Fragmented, right? Anything that makes you feel like you are pulling yourself apart or uncomfortable in your own being, or any person that makes you feel like you don't belong or makes you again feel uncomfortable or anything like that. This really does feel to me, Aries, like you're moving away from things this month that cause you any kind of like uneasiness within yourself or within your experience. It's like I don't want to I don't have time for that. I don't have space for that. Like I am trying to, you know, experience positivity. I'm trying to bring in happiness and joy, and I'm not feeding these things that don't align with that. Right? So I feel like you are moving away from anything that doesn't feel good is really how this is coming across. Yeah, I mean, you have here cause and effect. You are aware that the love you create in your thoughts is an agent of change and the foundation of your results. So, again, like I was saying, it feels like moving away from anything that creates some kind of discomfort within you or, you know, tries to impose upon you some sort of belief or opinion or judgment or anything like that. Right? It's like I'm not doing that. Like I'm not going to be around people who try to make me feel like crap. I'm not going to be in situations that, you know, try to make me feel less about myself or anything, right? So again, anything that creates like a negative effect or tries to create a negative effect within you, um let's see how we want to put these, or anything that tries to disturb your peace, I guess you could say as well, or might be a better way to put that. I feel like you're I don't want nothing to do with it. Right? Because it's like I feel like you have this understanding that, first of all, boundaries are okay. And second of all, that you play a part in the reality that you experience. And if you just give yourself over to these experiences that don't feel good, then you are playing a part in your own suffering or your own discomfort. And so it's like, we're just going to cut that off right now and walk away from that. Yeah, I mean, you have the Four of Wands here, so this is really interesting. Lots of fiery energy for you, Aries. I feel like this is about you getting back to yourself. But the Four of Wands, you know, is often this is card of, say, community and things like this. Um, it can be of like home as well, but I feel like this is more like a community type of energy. And I feel again, it is again moving away from anything that makes you feel like you don't belong or we don't appreciate you or again creates any kind of discomfort in your being. I feel like I don't want that. Yeah, anywhere that doesn't celebrate who you are, right? I feel like you're moving away from that. Okay, let's take a look at what you're moving toward, or what's coming closer to you this month, Aries. You do have past. Through the power of love, you release any stagnant situations or energy in order to transform your heart space. So I feel like you're moving closer to, how would we say, reconciling the past, or transmuting the past. Okay, so if it went focus, there we go. So I feel like you're moving closer again to healing some of these things. And I feel like it's through creating these boundaries and discovering the truth of who you are without all this noise going on from other people or situations or what have you. I feel like you are moving closer to releasing your past. All right, or releasing past hurts, or maybe finding forgiveness in situations that were unpleasant for you. Okay, which is pretty powerful. It can be very difficult to do, so I think that's beautiful. You also have action here. You have the courage to express the unique loving colors of your soul. Yeah, so what are you moving closer to? You're moving closer to you, right? Moving closer to the truth of who you are, and are, I feel, finding or moving closer to being able to stand in that more consistently and more powerfully, more confidently. Because again, releasing your past, oftentimes the things that we carry from our past, and it usually stems from traumas and woundings and programmings that aren't ours to begin with. Not, it's a very complex but I feel like we carry so many things with us that we just buy and sell as our own. And so, they kind of layer upon us over time, and we just start believing them, and then we perpetuate them in our experience because we tell ourselves that story over and over and over again. And the more we experience it, the more true it becomes for us, and the more we perpetuate it. And I feel like being able to release the past, or moving closer to doing that more and more, I feel like you are discovering the truth of who you actually are underneath all of that nonsense, underneath all of these things that you have maybe bought and sold about yourself through programming, through society, through culture, through trauma, through wounding, through things that you've experienced and taken on throughout your lifetime. And so again, I feel like you're moving closer to who you are, right? Moving closer to having the courage to stand in that, to be who you are, and not be afraid of it. To clarify, you do have the Seven of Pentacles here. I feel like there's something here about learning how to be more patient with yourself, especially as you're moving through these things. I feel like you're understanding that working through the past and uncovering who you are takes time. And I feel like, again, even though I feel like this has happened probably rather quickly, what's happened thus far, or it feels like it's happened very quickly, I feel like you are learning to have patience with yourself, because I feel like there's this, I don't know, for some reason, it feels to me like maybe in the past, maybe you wanted to change things about yourself, um, but maybe there was some aspect of you that got frustrated, or something, and just quit because you weren't seeing the results you wanted. And so there's some element here of maybe letting go of a bit of control and moving more with the flow a little bit, and being more patient with yourself, and being more diligent about uncovering the truth of who you are, right? So there's this element of like persevering through what it takes to actually become who you really are, or to uncover who you really are. Wow, you have the Six of Pentacles here in the reverse. So this is really interesting, because you may see repeating sixes and sevens this month, or maybe 6-7 or 7-6 or 6-7-7-6, or something is important to you in some way, shape, or form. But you do have the Six of Pentacles here. And this can be an energy of essentially being kind of, yeah, it's here's the interesting thing. Just based off pure intuition, I feel like there, how would I say? I feel like your past has dominated you in some kind of way, or something from your past has dominated you, or was creating this disharmony within you, or something. Because this is an energy for me right now of, I just keep getting the word like domination, domination, and looking at what we have coming out here, right? I feel like I just feel like your past has dominated you, and in the past there could have been this energy of like not doing enough or something. And so I feel like you kept trying to like fix things and like rush through things and like never gave yourself credit, and was never, I don't even know how to explain it. It just feels like, it feels very chaotic. It feels very chaotic. It feels very unsettling. It feels very overwhelming. It feels very much like I can't even process what I'm experiencing because I'm not being given the time. Right. And so it feels like maybe your past was dominating you. Maybe, these feelings of discomfort or distrust in yourself or something was dominating you. But I feel like you're moving closer to overcoming this. Right. There's also an element here perhaps of moving closer to, again, have like, we have this action card here with you have the courage to express the unique loving colors of your soul. And earlier on in the reading, I said that, maybe you came off a little pushy or assertive or aggressive in the past, right? And I feel like you may be moving closer to, again, I feel having the courage to be yourself without dominating people, right? Without like forcing yourself on people. And I'm not saying that in a way that's like physically forcing yourself on people, but I mean, forcing your energy upon people, or like talking loud if somebody's not paying direct attention to you and you want them to, or that's what it feels like. It feels like maybe not kind of pushing that on people, right? I feel like there's something here about being more comfortable with, if people don't see me, fine, right? Like I don't have to assert myself. That just means to me, or that tells me that that is not my kind of people, or that's not my kind of situation. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's take a look at now what the next 6 months could have in store for you. So we do have here empathy. You feel and understand the emotions of another in the service of love. I'm getting fear here. So it's very interesting to me, Aries, because I feel like over the next 6 months, I feel like you could experience empathy from others. Now, that's not to say that you won't be empathetic towards others. Um, just from my own experience, I do feel like Aries have quite big hearts and maybe often are a little misunderstood. But I feel like you may get empathy or experience empathy from other people, and I feel like that might be quite unexpected for you over the next 6 months. I feel like there's some element here of maybe you dropping your guard a bit and opening up to certain people and experiencing this empathy from them. And I feel like it may come as a surprise to you how deeply they actually feel for you. And there's also an element here of feeling heard by whoever this may be for you. Whether it's your partner, a stranger, a new friend, whatever it is. I just feel like there's something that comes along here which gives you the opportunity to let down your guard and open up. And I feel like how accepting they are of where you're at with whatever the moment is. and them hearing you. I feel like it's not about them, oh, well, let me give you advice for this situation. I just feel like they simply hold space for you. They let you be what you are, what you're feeling, and let you express what you need to, and don't just let you be, right? Like, it's not like, oh, let me tell you how to fix that. No, I feel like they simply just have or hold this space of empathy for you. And I feel like that may come as a surprise to you. It's very interesting, but it's beautiful, truly. That is something that creates long-lasting friendships and partnerships, and it's quite fantastic. So I do pray that that is something that moves into your life, especially if you've never experienced it before. You also have here forgiveness. I love this for you, Aries, because here's the thing, right? I feel like the next 6 months could bring forgiveness for yourself. And it feels more, I feel like more people would relate or rather resonate with the next 6 months bringing you forgiveness for self. And I feel like there's an element here of just being more forgiving of yourself moment by moment, right? So if you're experiencing something and maybe you don't really know how to deal with it and you're trying to figure it out, and maybe you react in a certain way or something and you're not very proud of yourself, or I'm just using this as an example. I feel like you're able to find forgiveness for yourself, right? Like I just, for whatever reason, I feel like that door between you and you is a little bit more open for forgiveness. I also feel like for some of you this could be forgiveness for others, and for some reason I'm getting maybe like older people who may be older than you. So I don't know who that might be for you, if this resonates with you, but for whatever reason it feels like there could be individuals in your experience who may be a little bit older than you that you are able to find forgiveness for, even if it's not face to face with them. Okay. It does say you are now able to activate the power of love in order to release past hurts. Okay. So again, I feel like you could be finding forgiveness for others, potentially people who are older than you, but more so I feel like this is you being forgiving towards yourself. And I do feel like this could potentially be taking place over the next 6 months if you do find that you are moving closer to working through your past and releasing it. Let's clarify these though. We do have the Queen of Wands in the reverse. So here's what's very, very interesting about this, Aries, is that this is essentially one of your cards showing up for you, but it's in the reverse. So I feel like over the next 6 months, you may be flipping this around, right? Because this showing up just says it's blocked. That's what it says. It doesn't say that it like, so the Queen of Wands is somebody who is very lively, very full of life, very confident, and is very like, this is me and I love every bit of who I am, right? And I'm not afraid to show it. I'm not afraid to share it. Like, I'm just loving life and I'm loving myself, and I feel like there's great confidence and power in that. So it's in the reverse here, but with these energies of empathy and forgiveness, I feel like, again, this has felt like all along you're getting back to you, right? You're like finding your way back to you. And so I feel like you could be, through empathy and through forgiveness, overcoming some of these insecurities that you may have had about yourself. Okay. We also have here the Three of Wands. So again, lots of Wands energy showing up, which is, essentially it's, I feel like there's a lot of willpower coming through here. I feel like there's a lot of, how would we say, inspiration and motivation and passion being reignited in your life. And I feel like it's for life itself and for yourself. So the Three of Wands is this energy of essentially like looking towards the future. And I do feel like over the next 6 months, you're going to be or feel more confident or more excited about the future. And I feel like it's because you're releasing a lot of these things that haven't been serving you and have maybe been creating undue stress or burden, or have been making you feel weighted, right? I don't know. I'm actually getting the words of like uncomfortable in your own skin. And, I feel like this could be a big change for you as you go through the next 6 months, because I feel like you'll find yourself looking forward to things versus like, I don't even know if I want to be here right now, let alone in 6 months. And I don't like, I want to be very careful about that. Okay. I'm not saying this from a space of, taking any sort of action on a comment like that. But I just mean that there's this feeling of tremendous overwhelm, and it's like I can't even think about right now, let alone in 6 months, right? So, but I feel that over the next 6 months, you may find that changing, and you may find yourself looking towards the future versus like, oh my gosh, I don't even know, I don't even want to think about it, right? We also have here this Seven of Swords, and I feel like this is because in the reverse, because I feel like you are trying new things, right? I feel like you are using different tactics and different strategies, and I feel like you're coming clean about who you truly are to yourself, more specifically, right? Because I feel like, and again, here's another seven showing up for you. So like I said, you may be seeing repeating sixes and sevens, but sevens are numbers of like introspection and reflection, right? And so I feel like, through all of this deep diving within yourself, if you will, there's this understanding of, okay, if I'm patient with myself, if I allow myself to work through these things, if I start to see myself with new eyes, if I forgive, myself and others, and allow people to come close to me, and am moving away from things that make me feel uncomfortable within my own skin, and I am implementing these different tactics and strategies as I move through my life, I feel like there's this, I don't know, that how would I say, there's these changes that come about because of these things, right? Like rethinking your approach, seeing where you've been deceiving yourself or allowing others to deceive you into believing something that hasn't been true, right? So I feel that over the next 6 months, you may, find yourself expressing the truth again with empathy and forgiveness here, and trying different tactics or implementing different strategies into your experience, or maybe even coming clean, right? Sharing your truths, the truth of who you are, and kind of having these inner dialogues with yourself, right? Not letting your ego, I don't know why, I don't know why I always see these birds as like the ego, like talking in a bunch of crap, but for some reason it comes up more often than not. But I feel like, that's it. It's like overcoming your ego and trying new things, trying different modalities and different ways of being. And I feel like a lot of this has to do with where you're at in your own mind, right? Your perceptions, your levels of awareness, what you know to be true about yourself or perceive to be true about yourself. Yeah. You also have the Knight of Swords here. And so, this is taking action on that, right? Getting that higher perspective here, I feel. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is just becoming more, how to say, more knowledgeable in who you are, more truthful about that, about what you learn, rather, and moving towards that, right? That's how that's how this is coming across to me. It's coming across as, I'm learning new things about myself. I'm uncovering these things, becoming more knowledgeable, in my levels of awareness and my perception about myself and the world. And I'm going to be moving in the directions that feel most in alignment with that are going to take me where I want to go, right? So I feel like there's movement created through perhaps, forgiveness and opening up to people and looking to the future and overcoming these insecurities. I feel like you're creating this movement in your experience that maybe wasn't there before. OMG. So you also have the Justice card here. So over the next 6 months, for some of you, you could find like legal matters resolving. I feel like I just have to point that out, which is odd because it's not a typical energy that comes up for me with the Justice. It's not very frequent. But I do feel like for some of you, there's this, again, you have cause and effect here, and the Justice card is that like cause and effect as well. So I feel like you're going to be seeing that the work that you're doing creates, again, like creates movement, has this effect on your experience through you honoring your truth, right? Through you gaining this clarity over yourself, right? And bringing more balance into your experience through that. I also feel here, because the Justice can be about like righting wrongs, and you have forgiveness here. So I feel like that forgiveness of yourself and other people helps to bring that balance into your life as well. Okay. And that's incredible, right? For you to be experiencing over the next 6 months. So what theme songs have showed up here for you for this month? You do have Gold by Excision and Illenium. Staring hard at the future. Yeah. Only close my eyes to blink. This is my sanctuary. This is my place to think. I'm driving till I find what I've been looking for. Holy shit. But it's inside. Do I walk on the cut grass? Do I run in the forest? Do I stand in the fire? Or do I hide from this moment? Do I let someone else take the fall? Because I'm scared that I'll lose it all. So what's standing out for me most importantly in this card for you, or in this song for you, Aries, is that I'm driving till I find what I've been looking for, but it's inside. Because I feel like this is something that you are really uncovering, especially over the next 6 months, but over the month of June as well, right? Because you're moving away from things that make you feel like trash and are trying to move through your past and bring forth more of who you are, so you don't feel like you're pushing yourself on people, right? And so I feel like there's this beautiful unfolding of the truth of who you are that's taking place for you over the course of this month. And that's actually a really good song. So maybe you want to look that up. We also have here, oh my gosh, did I show you that? I'm sorry. If I didn't, I apologize. Wait till you see what or hear what the next song is. Like, so the next song that's come through for you is Empathy by Bass Nectar. To a higher zone, you are not alone. I know no parameters, frequency, no limiters. We multiply integers. We back and forth, so limitless. I'm positive, negative, combined with infinity. You can grab a vine upon a line. This is synergy. Anything you feel, I can feel it too. So I do feel for some of you, there could be a relationship or a friendship. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but some sort of partnership or friendship or relationship that is developed where someone just kind of gets you, or they're able to just hold empathy for you, right? They'll allow you to be where you are. Okay, and I think that there's an understanding that doing so is going to help you to heal. For others of you, if you don't relate to having somebody come into your life who just kind of gets you, I feel like there's this development of empathy, or rather this experience that you may have where somebody is just empathetic towards you, right? Even if it's just one time, maybe, who knows, maybe it's a stranger on a bus, or, maybe it is somebody at, a random gathering, You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly how this might manifest if this resonates with you or if it's for you. But I just feel like there's something here where you may have a run-in with somebody who just acknowledges it feels like the value of you as a human being, right? So you may be experiencing people showing you empathy or being empathetic towards you or holding space for you in some way that maybe you haven't experienced before. Okay. Super powerful for you, Aries. Thank you so much for joining me for your June 2023 Tarotscope. I'm so very grateful for your time, your energy, your attention, and of course, your lovely company. So thank you so much for being here. If anything resonated in this reading for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing to the channel. It really does help me to grow by telling YouTube that there may be something valuable or important for someone else. So I truly appreciate you doing so. Have a beautiful, expansive month and next 6 months of your experience. I pray that everything unfolds for you beautifully. Take care of your powerful, unique, beautiful soul. Peace be with you and within you. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.